Hello everyone. In last lecture we have finished the chapter number 2 strain gauge. Now uh, uh, my name is Professor Urvish Mewada. I am HOD Electrical Department Sri Swaminarayan Institute of Technology Bhat Gandhinagar. I am also the subject matter of Industrial Instrumentation subject which is in the 7th semester electrical, and GTU subject code for this subject is 2170913. So in this presentation, we will start with the new fresh chapter number 3, displacement measurement. So in displacement measurement, our topic number 1 is introduction about the displacement measurement. So let us discuss the displacement measurement. Basically, it is a change in the position of the body with respect to some preference point. Means, suppose we consider an object is moving, or any say object is having a movement, say linear or circular. So we will consider an initial position, and from initial position to a position, uh, the object which acquire into the next moment is called the displacement of this particular object. So yes, it may be a linear, helical, or a rotational. So it can be expressed in say absolute, or in terms of relative. Say initial position to final position. So that is called the relative motion of the object. So generally, to determine that movement, the electromechanical transducer are used to convert the displacement into the equivalent voltage, or say current. uh, that is that is the that are the transducer which we use to uh, check the displacement of a particular object. So the types of displacement, let us discuss displacement transducer. Let us discuss the transducers we use to measure the displacement. So first is variable resistance type transducer, or a potentiometric, or like using strain gauge. So basically, here we are in this industrial instrumentation subject, we are discussing the uh, transducers. So in this way, we will check all the transducer related to which can be used for the displacement measurement. Then uh, then LVDT. So it is a variable, say inductance type LVDT. Means in that we will use the change in the inductance principle of the electrical engineering. So this is linear variable differential transducer. Then variable capacitance type. So in this we use the principle of capacitance change. So this is the capacitance type transducer. Then the synchros and resolver. So in this we use uh, the relative motion of the motor, or the machine. So generally, variable resistance type transducers changes in proportional with the displacement. So that's why, as the displacement changes, so as the arm or the device which is connected to that object will change the resistance of the transducer, and we can measure that displacement in terms of electrical voltage. So basically, the variable resistance type inductor and the variable resistance type transducer changes in proportional with the displacement. So also the inductance of the variable inductance type transducer changes in proportional with the displacement. So as I discussed that in this various type of displacement measurement transducer, we use the functions of all the elements, or means all the electrical elements that we have. See, we have the RLC, basically electrical components in the electrical engineering. So we will observe the change in the resistance, change in the inductance, and change in the capacitance. Means as the object changes, so as the resistance change, so as the inductance change, so as the capacitance change. So this is how we can use the working principle of these elements for the measurement of say displacement of the particular object. So the resistance, inductance, or capacitance can be converted into the proportional voltage or frequency. So here we are using this principles of this different elements to convert that physical quantities a displacement into the electrical output voltage. So let us discuss the topic number 2 for in this lecture. It is a resistive potentiometer. So let us so we are discussing the first transducer, that is resistive potentiometer transducer. So this is say linear port. So in this linear port we have the former, means this is the former on which the wire is wounded. So on the former we have the suppose insulating paper, or on the paper we can wind the wire. This wire is say enameled copper, means enameled, and it is copper wire. It may be a copper wire. We can use different material for the uh, different conducting material for this type of transducer. Now the supply is given to this winding from one end to either end, and one variable arm which is connected on the surface of say linear potentiometer. So in this variable arm is, say, it is movable arm, and suppose we connect a moving object with this variable arm, so that as the object moves in this direction, means positive x and negative x and positive x direction, so we can measure that displacement in terms of electrical output. So this movable point moves, so as the number of turns of this conductor will change, and so as the length of the conductor will change, and as the length of conductor will change, the current passes through this conductor will change. So as the output voltage of this particular linear potentiometer will change. So we can measure this displacement in terms of say electrical output. Now this is the linear motion, so this is the angular or rotary motion. So if we connect our movable object over here, means end of the movable object is here. Suppose our object is moving, say rotary or circular or angular, so we can have this is the say means straight former. So this is the circular former on which we can wind the wire, and this winded wire have two ends in the at the both the ends, means between both the ends we have connected the supply voltage, and one point that is movable point. And the movable point is, suppose we connect that movable point to the moving object, so that the as per the movement of the object, this pointer will move, or movable arm will move, and a point at which the arm touches the number of turns, or the length of the conductor offers the resistance. According to that resistance, the current passes through that wire, and so as we can measure that movement in terms of electrical output using angular or rotary pot. So this is the third type of resistive potentiometer, that is called helipot or helix or rotational. So in this we have both the motion, say suppose it can be measure axial as well as the say rotational. So it is a combination of these two. And this suppose a moving arm which is moving in like helix mode, so we can connect our movable sorry, we can connect the variable arm with the moving object, and we can observe that movement in terms of the resistance change, in terms of the output voltage, or in terms of output current. So basically this above figures are the linear pot and rotary pot, and they consist of a resistive element which provides a sliding contact. Say, as I already discussed, the sliding contact or movable arm, it is called a wiper basically, or a movable arm on which we can connect our movable object. The contact motion may be linear, rotational, or combination of two, so it is called helix, as I already explained. And the resistive body of the potentiometer may be wire wound. So as we discussed, the wire wound means the wire is wounded on the surface of the former. So let us discuss the linear translation potentiometer. So in this diagram you can see that the resistance which is connected with the supply voltage V1, and this is the x t which is total length of the translation pot, and this is the xi, so displacement of the wiper from the zero position. So zero position means this is the point at which at this is the point at which the resistance will offer the maximum resistance, and this is the point at which resistance will offer minimum. Means suppose our pot is over here, so the current which is coming from the primary side or input side will be bypassed through the wire, and there is no say the resistance is minimum. And suppose we move this arm in the downward direction, so the resistance will change, so as the output voltage will change. So Vi is the input voltage and V0 is the output voltage. Say xt is the length of the translation pot, and xi is the displacement of the wiper from the zero position, and rp is the total resistance of the potentiometer. So if the resistance distribution with respect to translation movement is linear, when the resistance per unit length, say rp, total resistance of the potentiometer to the xi, so it is the total length of the translation pot, sorry, total displacement of the wiper from the zero position. So let us discuss the output voltage from this. Say V output is the resistance at the output terminals, and resistance at the input terminal into input voltage. So resistance at the output terminal is Rp into Xi by Xt, and resistance at the input terminal is the Rp, means total resistance, so into Vi. So basically V output is equal to, this is the this RPRP will be cancelled out, so Xi by Xt into V1 or Vi input. We can write this ratio V0 by Xi to the V1 to the, or Vi to the Xt. So the sensitivity is the output upon input. So output V output upon Xi is equal to V input upon Xt. So this is how we can determine the sensitivity, means output voltage to the resistance, means offer at the different ends. So the output voltage varies linearly with the displacement of the object or movement of the object. So the sensitivity is constant under ideal condition. Ideal condition means if the temperature and the surrounding atmosphere, which is related to the change in the surrounded atmosphere, and the rp should be low, means the resistance of the translation potentiometer should be low to achieve the good quality. Let us consider one characteristic potentiometer. So from this we can easily say that this is the V output by V input pot sorry arm, and this is the X I by XT. So from this we can say that if the resistance or RP is low, and the say if the condition is ideal where we are measuring this, so the sensitivity is say constant, and we can the output is we can faithfully reproduce. So this is how we can achieve our movement with the help of resistance. The advantages of the resistance potentiometer are the first advantage is they are easy to operate because there is no rocket science to operate the resistance. Then they are cheap in the cost. Yes, we can have different type of variable potentiometer, or variable say means helical or circular or angular motion or linear motion resistance uh, we can have in means say low sorry less price from the market, and it is not so costly, so we can easily access that resistances. Their electrical efficiency is high, then they are useful for measurement of large amplitude or displacement, and the uh, the the disadvantages of this is the printing mistake. Disadvantages of the resistance: they require large force to move their sliding contact. Then the sliding contact wear out means yes, it is say moving part, so movable part, so there is always a wear and tear in the moving parts, and it generates the noise and become misaligned. Yes, it can be misaligned, so that it can show the wrong output or wrong reading, and this reduces the life of the transducer. So uh, let us discuss the topic number 3, that is linear variable differential transformer or transducer. This is the most IMP question of this chapter. It is repeatedly asked question in the GTU. So let us discuss let us the discuss of LVDT first. So it is linear variable differential transducer. In this we have one hollow bobbin in which we can have the core, or we can say the movable object or movable part of this transducer, and core is in the transformer. Generally function of the core is to provide low reluctance part to the magnetic flux. So in this we have say a bobbin, and on the bobbin surface we have two windings. First is primary winding, and secondary is we have two windings, both are connected in differential manner. So on the surface of the bobbin, suppose we can have the insulator, and on the insulator we can have the say generally we put the LV windings near to the core. So generally primary and secondary winding are near to the core, and both are connected in the differential manner. Means two windings and both are connected in differential manner, means the mutual inductance of that two windings will be say we can have the difference of that two. So again we have the paper or any type of former, and above that we have the primary winding. So this is how we can construct the LVDT. So uh, LVDT generally consists of primary winding and two identical secondary winding. Yes, that we have already discussed, and axial spaced, and say wounded on a cylindrical coil or former or the bobbin. See, consider the bobbin of say sewing machine. You already seen that bobbin, and if you wind a wire on that, means we have three windings, two windings that are considered as a secondary. Both are connected in differential manner, and the first winding, that is primary winding, on which we can give the input supply. And this is the displacement, means axial displacement we can have. And if the movement of the core, means with this movable core we can connect our movable object, so that as the object moves, so as the core moves, and that will offers the output voltage accordingly. So let us discuss uh, uh, the connection of LVDT. So as I already explained you that in the means center part we have the core, and this core is movable in this in this bobbin or movable portion, or this vacant space. And this is the primary winding at which we can connect the AC supply, and this is the secondary winding. This winding is connected in the differential manner. See, basically students generally made mistake to connect this secondary winding. Yes, keep in mind to connect this two windings like this, so both will subtract the EMFs of each other. So don't make mistake while you draw this winding connection. Mainly students are making this mistake. They will not show this windings in differential manner. And one thing you should keep in mind that LVDT has different application. So read it carefully, that LVDT means what question asked and what function is asked for the LVDT. So if the question is mentioned that the explain LVDT, then you can explain LVDT for the displacement measurement. But if it is mentioned that suppose explain LVDT for the level measurement, for the force measurement, then you have to explain according to the means the function required. This is only a displacement measurement, and you have to write the displacement measurement if anything is if nothing is specified in the question. So this is the connection. And the EMF which is produced in the secondary side, means in the first winding is E01, and the second EMF is the E02. And this is the say characteristic of the uh, LVDT. So here we are getting motion x, positive x direction and negative x direction, say linear motion. So we get the output in both the direction as this core moves. And the two secondary windings are say connected in series opposition, so it is called differential. So the output voltage is E output is equal to E0 minus E02, and where E01 and E02 are the EMFs of EMF induced in the two secondary windings. So operation of LVDT, let us discuss the operation of the LVDT. So LVDT produce a differential voltage at different core position. See, this is the core which is movable. So as this core moves, according to that movement of the core, the winding will produce the means winding will cut the flux, and so that it will produce the EMF accordingly. And the output will be the difference of that two EMFs. So let us discuss first the operation of the LVDT. So in this operation of the LVDT we have considered the three position. So let us consider first position, the main position is suppose core is at a center. So whenever the core is at a center, the EMF produced by both the windings will be same. So both will cut same amount of flux, and so as both will have the same EMF. So as we have the equation, E output is equal to E01 minus E02. So both EMFs are equal, so there is no output. So equal output with both secondaries, therefore E02 equal to the E01, so there is no output. It means our graph is starting from the zero over here. Now if we move the score in this direction, means right direction, so in this direction you can see that E02 having the the maximum portion of the core in front of this E02. So say E02 is greater than the E01. So at that time we can say that this is the negative displacement. So negative displacement in this, if E02 is more than E01 minus E02, our output will be the negative. So we can have the movement of core. Suppose core is starting moving from the center. So when it comes nearer to this say first turn, so as the output of that E02 will gradually increase, and once it is reaches exactly in front of E02, then at that time output is maximum. Then after, suppose this core moves away from this E02, again the output will decrease. So this is the negative displacement with the help of this core. And suppose the object which is connected will move, suppose in this direction, so we can have this output voltage according to the movement of the object. Now suppose this core, we consider if this core is moving in this positive x direction, means this is the direction at which we will get the output is positive. So over here you can see that this core is in front of E01. So E01 is maximum when core is in front of say E01. So E01 will cut the means maximum amount of flux, and so as the output EMF of the E01 is maximum. So more means coupling with first secondary, therefore E01 is greater than the E02, because E01 minus E02, and E01 is greater than our output is say positive, and the working of means is same as the negative displacement. So gradually as core moves towards the E01, gradually EMF will increase, and when it is at the center, means actually exact in front of E01, then output is maximum again. Then when core is going away from the E01, then output will gradually decrease. So this is the axis at which we can have the core position, and this is the output voltage of the LVDT. So this is how you can explain the operation of the LVDT. Then let us discuss the performance characteristics of LVDT. So say first is a null voltage. So null voltage means whenever yes, the first is null voltage. Practically small residual voltage observed at the null position. See, in this we have the electromagnetic device. So electromagnetic device has a property. Say whenever you give the electrical supply to the any electromagnetic device, and that it will get energized, and when you remove that supply, the say magnetic parts of that say electromagnetic component will be not completely say de-energized. So some amount of residual flux will remain there. So that's why ideally the output voltage output of the LVDT should be zero when it is at the null position. But practically a small residual voltage, say null voltage, say is observed at the null position of the core. So this is due to the presence of harmonics in the output of the extinction source, and stray capacitance between the primary and secondary winding. So that's why we will not get exact null voltage, we will get some amount of voltage. The characteristic which we drawn, it is say theoretical characteristic, but when we practically energize the LVDT at the null position, we will have some voltage when we measure the output voltage without a movement of the core. So the second is resolution. It is say infinite resolution due to the smooth operation of the core and good input and output response. So if we assume that LVDT is frictionless, then it can be respond to very minute movement of the core to produce a proportional output voltage. Also this makes the resolution of the LVDT say ideally infinite. So this is the second characteristic. Now the third characteristic is linearity. So characteristic of the LVDT is say quite linear, because we have the say fine and coarse movement of the core, so we can have gradual movement of the core, so that we can have the linear output. Say for 5 mm LVDT, 5 mm displacement LVDT, linear up to 0.1%, and for the 30 mm 30 mm displacement, the linearity is between 1 to 2%. The transfer characteristic of the LVDT is, basically it is quite linear, and the small LVDT, say up to 5 mm, have the linearity up to 0.1%, and long range LVDT up to 30 mm displacement have the linearity between 1 to 2. So this is how, this from this we can say that LVDT having the, say, linear output when we move the core, or when we move the object which is connected to the core. Now the sensitivity, say, no, the sensitivity is defined as millivolt per mm, as we are moving this LVDT, say gradually. So this is, we can say, small movement in the so we will have the millivolt output as the core moves. So the sensitivity is defined as millivolt per and it is typically 1 to 2 millivolt per 0.01 so for the LVDT, and sensitivity should be as high as possible, and the typical value of LVDT sensitivity shows that it is a highly sensitive transducer. So as we move the core, according to the movement, it will show the output. That's why it is called purely sensitive transducer. Now the extinction voltage and the extinction frequency, the extinction frequency is so adjusted that the best possible sensitivity, yes, this is how we can achieve the maximum sensitivity, and the deflection can be achieved. So frequency is kept between 1 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz, so as we can have the maximum extinction, say, voltage and frequency, so as we can achieve the maximum sensitivity of the transducer. So maximum extinction voltage generally is limited by the maximum primary current, and which can be allowed to flow. So the extinction frequency should be precisely adjusted to a frequency where the best possible sensitivity of the detection can be obtained. So this is how we can adjust the sensitivity of the transducer, LVDT. Then the dynamic response means, as we give the input, if the input is changing continuously, so as your device should behave, or it should give the output. So the dependent on it is dependent on the extinction frequency and the core weight. So as we control this extinction frequency, so then we can have the good sensitivity. And if the core weight is less, say, then the moment means the object which is moving object which is connected to that core should have the less burden to move. So this indicates the how fast the LVDT respond to the displacement of the core. So dynamic response is basically dependent on the extinction frequency and the core weight, so that we can have the good dynamic response. Now let us discuss the advantages and disadvantages and application of the LVDT. So first is advantages. It has the good resolution, because we can control the extinction voltage and frequency, so that we can have good sensitivity. And if good sensitivity, then we can maintain the good resolution. Then the high accuracy, that is, as we can precisely move the core position, so that we can have the good accuracy. And linearity of the transfer characteristics, say, better than 0.25. So it is say, very viable to use this device to find out the displacement of any object. Then ease of the fabrication and installation. So it is quite no, say, simple structure, so that it is easy to say, we can have the placement of that LVDT at the industrial purpose, or at the say the means we can put that device as per our say requirement, say we can have the less problems of the foundation of this device, so that we can have ease of fabrication and installation. Now, ability to operate at high temperature, yes, we can use this device whenever the temperature increases, it is it will give the adequate output at that point. So high sensitivity, say 2 millivolt per volt per 10, say ircon, it is the say this, sorry, the 10 micron, so it is the, this is the printing mistake, say from this we can say that it is the highly sensitive device, and the extinction frequency is say 4 kilowatts. At that frequency we will have the maximum sensitivity can be achieved of the for the LVDT transducer. Then stable and easy to maintain. Then it can be higher degree of shock and vibration, especially when the core spring is loaded with adverse effect. So simple in construction. Then low stresses and repeatability is excellent. So the next advantage is it consumes the low power, typically less than 1 watt. So from this 11 advantages you can write around 5 to 7 advantages. So the disadvantage of the LVDT is, first is sensitive to external magnetic field. If the device is placed in the other magnetic field, so that can affect the performance of the say LVDT. So magnetic shield is necessary for that, so that that can be protected from the means other disturbances from the say the surrounded magnetic field. Then it is complicated circuit is needed for the movement of the, because it is secondary transducer, so complicated circuit is needed for the operation. Then the third is due to mass of the LVDT, is it is not suitable for the dynamic measurement, because as we have the core structure, core is say heavy, so due to that it is not viable for the mass of the say core, it is not suitable for the dynamic measurement. Then large displacement are needed to get appreciable differential output. Say if we have the large movement, we cannot use this LVDT for the large displacement measurement. Then temperature affect the performance. Yes, if the temperature, surrounding temperature of the will not affect as means much, but if the internal temperature will increase, so that the winding resistance will change, and so that the output of the LVDT will change. Then the dynamic response is limited. Then it is affected by the vibrations. Yes, vibrations are generated, so as the chances of harmonics, means occurrence of the harmonics will be more, so that it can affect the performance of the LVDT. Then application of LVDT, it is used to measure pressure, load, acceleration, force, weight. Right now we are using LVDT for the say displacement measurement. In the next consequent chapters we will observe, or we will see the other applications of the LVDT, say pressure measurement, load and acceleration measurement, and force measurement, and the weight measurement. And the range fraction of to few centimeter, because for that if the large movement is there, then it requires the large structure, so that it can be used for the to centimeter displacement. Then secondary, it is a secondary transducer, means which is this is it is act as a secondary transducer to measure the force, pressure and weight. And so that the large setup is required. Then the measurement of liquid level in the tank, and the tension of the cord, this is the application. So pressure, force, and weight measurement, and then we can have the tension and liquid level measurement with the help of LVDT. And measurement and control of thickness of metal sheet being rolled. So these are the application of LVDT, which can be which we use for the displacement measurement. And for the displacement measurement, LVDT is the best option if the displacement is small. Now after the this topic, we have the assignment question. Say explain the LVDT for the displacement measurement. See, this is the specified in this is specified in this question, displacement measurement. Whenever this question asks explain LVDT, then many students are making mistake. They write LVDT for displacement only, but please check that which application is needed, means which application is asked for the this transducer. So this is the first thing. And second thing, second thing is that you have to draw the windings in the secondary side is the differential manner. This too you should keep in mind while you write the LVDT. And the first question is explain the LVDT for the displacement measurement with construction working principle, advantages, disadvantages, and the application. And explain different type of motions using resistive potentiometer. So the related instructions which are written below, please read it carefully. You can take the snap of this. And there is no worksheet question in this after this topic. So if you have any doubt, we can solve our doubt in the doubt solving session. And also you can call me, feel free to call me. You have my contact number, students. Thank you very much. Jai Swaminarayan. Thank you all.